How's it going, guys? So in today's tutorial, we're going to be creating this abstract kind of character stylized animation. So let's get into the tutorial. All right, so before we hop into Blender, we're going to need to get our characters. So we're going to head over to mixamo.com. That's mixamo.com. This is an Adobe product, but you do not need to pay for it. Just make an account and you can get your hands on a character. So what I did was I went to the characters and I went and found this base model down here, which right here, this is the character. I clicked on it and I clicked use this character. And then I went on ahead and went to the animations and I typed in looking, because I want my character to be looking around. And then right over here, I believe it's called idle. This one right here, I click. Now you can pick any animation you'd like for this, but this one right here I found works the best. Now click on him. Now that'll apply that animation to the character. Click download and then click download FBX format. All right, now we're going to open up a brand new scene file. I'm going to hop on over, click on this little camera icon and click Eevee. We're going to be using the Eevee render engine for this. Now file, import, and then we're going to click FBX, and then I'm going to navigate to my guy right here, idle. All right, so he's right here, and we're going to use this. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my camera. So I'm going to make it point right here, camera. I'm going to hit Control-Alt-0, snap it to view. And then in the camera settings, click on the little green camera icon on focal length. I'm going to click on 100, and I'm going to bring him back a little bit, just like this. Set up your camera however you like. Now, here's this guy's topology, very even, really nice quads, but all we need is this and up, and all this extra topology we do not need to deal with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit tab here, and I'm right up here. I'm going to click on X-ray, and then I'm just going to hit B for box select and select all this right here, hit X and click faces, and that eliminates that extra topology that I do not need, which will bog down my my preview, which it will be getting bogged down pretty soon with the things that we're going to be doing that. So it just eliminates a little bit of that. Now I'm going to take this and see when the animation stops. It looks like right around 120. So right over here, 120, that makes your animation only 120 frames long, which will make this a perfect loop. And that all just depends on what animation you actually downloaded. Next thing we're going to do, I'm going to right click and shade flat, and I'm going to head over to the modifiers and add the decimate modifier, and then we're going to decimate to however low poly I want this character to be. So I think right there is really cool. Now the cool thing about this decimate modifier is it does that really cool number, and it just looks really cool in animation, very glitchy. Now I'm going to add in a wireframe modifier, and now click even thickness and click replace original, so we get that fill in back, and then we're going to go and say I'm going to give this a thickness of 2. That's going to look really cool for this. So now we have this. Now we need to start shading it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go here, click Scene World, Scene Lights, and we do not need this skin material that comes with it by default. So I'm going to hit the minus icon, I'm going to click New, and then I'm going to click another one, make that one new. Now this material number 2, that's going to be what the wireframe looks like. So I'm going to make it metallic, and I'm going to make it super dark, and then we need to go back to the wireframe modifier and assign that. So we'll click material offset of 2, picking the second material, and it makes it that. Now let's go back to the materials and make this an emission, just like that. And now we have that. Now we need to go and make the material that looks really cool and super 80s. So let's head over to shading, and I'm gonna hit Z rendered. First off, I'm gonna head over to my world setting and make the background black. So now we have this. So now we have this emission shader. What I'm going to do is I want to have the full rainbow spectrum so I can play around with color in this animation. So I'm going to get the color ramp, and then a cool trick to get a rainbow is go from RGB to HSV, near to far, and then click on the white and make it purple, and click on the black one as well and make that purple. And that creates the full spectrum of the rainbow inside of your color ramp, which is a really cool trick. I'm going to plug that into the color, and then the first thing I'm going to get is a mix RGB. So what that's going to do is we're going to be making 2 sets of nodes, one a noise texture, which is going to allow us to place things around, and a brick texture to give that brick texture look. So I'm going to put in this mix RGB here, and let's make the noise first, which we're going to have a really special node at the very end of this. So noise texture, NOI, noise texture, and let's actually just plug in here so we can see it working. So we have that happening already, which looks really cool. If you have the Node Wrangler add-on enabled, it comes with the Blender by default. Control T, and we're going to delete the texture coordinate and get a geometry node, GEO, geometry, and we're going to get the normal output. And what that's going to do is going to apply things to different specific vertices. So now you can see the normal output is applying random colors to random vertices, which is a really, really cool trick. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this mix RGB back in here. I'm going to add a new texture, which is the brick texture. Brick texture right here, and plug it right there. And then I'm going to hit Control T again to get that texture set up. And then I'm going to bring up the scale a whole bunch so we get some really cool stuff. And then I'm going to bring the factor far over here. So if you bring the factor over here, it just shows the brick texture. If you bring it all the way over here, it's just showing the noise texture. And the noise texture by itself looks really cool, but I wanted to add something really interesting, and I wanted to add more detail to it. So I'm going to bring the factor just over just slightly, so it's showing the bricks on just random vertices, which is really cool and really nice. Last thing I'm going to do here, now that we have this going on, bring the strength down a little bit. I'm going to get a hue saturation node, plug that right there, and then I'm going to take it and just play around with it until I like what I see. All the way at 1 actually gives you a really cool, really nice setup. But if I bring the hue over here, I'm going to get that original look I have in the original animation. And now you have this really, really cool, very interesting animation loop that you can apply to concert visuals, all that kind of stuff. And then I'll show you on the original animation. All I did was I took a plane and I decimated it and added a wireframe modifier, and it gives you that nice background to fill in all that empty black space. So you can go ahead and do that if you'd like, or you can add whatever background you want to this animation. But now when you're done, you get this really cool, really weird, glitchy animation, and I think it looks super cool and super mysterious. So, all right, now I'm just going to show you how to export this really quick. So click this and pick where you want to save it. Go from PNG to FFmpeg video, encoding to MP4, and then medium quality to perceptually lossless, and then render animation, and you're done. And thank you guys for watching. I hope you learned something.